Hello guys, this is Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy. In this tutorial, I am just going to explain to you on how to label the brachial plexus. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you register with Excel Academy. Let me quickly and easily show you on how to label the brachial plexus. The first thing you need to understand is, where does the brachial plexus start from? So the brachial plexus, it has the roots which start from the C5 to what? To T1. So these are the first thing that you should be able to identify. And then for you to know which one is the C5 and which one is the T1, you can easily use this nerve to be able to identify where the C5 is and where the T1 is. If you observe, the C5 is the only root of the brachial plexus which is having a nerve originating from it. So the first part, you need to know where the C5 is and the T1 is. From that, you can also easily move from there to there by knowing that this should be the C6, then you have the C7, and lastly the C8. After you identify these roots, you can easily now look for a nerve which is coming direct from the roots of the brachial plexus. So we can easily identify these nerves which are coming direct from the roots of the brachial plexus by starting with how many roots are they having. So we can start with this nerve. So this nerve is normally known as the what? As the dorsoscapular nerve. So the nerve that is originating from the brachial plexus and has only one root, which is the C5, is what? Is the dorsoscapular nerve. So you have the dorsoscapular nerve. Okay. So after you understand the dorsoscapular nerve, you need to look at the nerve which is having three origins. Remember, we have moved from a nerve which is originating from one origin. Then now we need to look at the nerve which is having two origins of the what? Of the brachial plexus roots. And this nerve is just the nerve to what? To the subclavian. Nerve to subclavian. So after you understand this nerve and that nerve, then you can look for another nerve which is having three origins. And this nerve is also coming direct from the roots of the brachial plexus. And this nerve is normally the what? The long thoracic nerve. So when you identify the three nerves that are coming direct from the brachial plexus, when you identify the three nerves that are coming direct from the brachial plexus, the next thing that you can easily use to identify other nerves is the what? The cords. Remember, the brachial plexus has what? Branches. So we have the roots, the trunks, divisions, cord, and also the what? The branches. So when you are able to identify the nerves that are coming direct from the root, you should also be able to identify the what? The cords. So the brachial plexus has three cords, which is according to the axillary artery. So the first cord you need to look at is the what? Is the median cord. Then you have the posterior cord and the lateral cord. The medial cord, it is a cord which is going to supply us with the four nerves, of which one of the nerves has the two origins. Please take note. The median nerve, the medial cord will give us four nerves. And amongst the four nerves, one of the nerves has two origins, and this nerve is this one I'm talking about, which is having two origins. So the nerve which is having two origin, it is carrying the name of the what, of the cord where it is coming from, and this nerve is just the median nerve. So the first nerve you can identify this side is the median nerve. Remember, I'm using the unique features of these nerves for us to easily label the brachial plexus. So after the nerve, okay, after the median nerve, so when you move the median nerve going this side, going on the upper part, as if you are going to the what, as if you are going towards the root, you need to understand that the median nerve will form an M-like structure with another nerve, and this nerve is known as the what, the ulnar nerve. So you have the ulnar nerve there. Remember, it doesn't matter the order in which you are labeling these nerves. What matters is you being able to find the best suitable way of identifying these nerves. Remember, from the branches, the first nerve I've identified first is the median nerve, and this median nerve, it is having two origins. So if you follow the medial origin of the median nerve, if you follow the medial origin of the median nerve, it is leading you to another nerve, and this nerve is the ulnar nerve. Then if you follow the lateral root, of the median nerve, it will lead you to another nerve which is known as the what, the musculocutaneous nerve. So the other nerve which is labeled with 17 is known as the what, musculocutaneous nerve. So this is the nerve that will be the first nerve for you to identify when you talk about the what, the lateral cord. And you are able to identify the musculocutaneous nerve through the help of the what, the median nerve. And this median nerve, you were able to identify it through the help of it having two origins. One, the medial cord, two, the what, the lateral cord. And if from the lateral cord, the nerve it is having a relationship with is the what, is the musculocutaneous nerve. So it is very important for you to know which one to start with and which one will help you to identify the what, the others. So let's quickly move on and look at the other part which you need to consider when you are talking about the what, the brachial plexus. So the next thing that you need to identify when you identify the ulnar nerve, you need to talk of moving from down going up. So your hand normally start with, when you are starting from the proximal region of your arm, which means you are starting from the origin, which is the what, which is the shoulder. You need to understand that the first thing that will appear is the what, the arm, and then after the arm you're going to have the what, the forearm. So since you are moving from this side going this side, so after the ulnar nerve, you need to know that the next thing that you need to have is the mediocutaneous nerve of what, of the forearm. So this guy is the mediocutaneous, okay, mediocutaneous nerve of what, of forearm. Like I have said, the forearm is a little bit below, okay, it's a little bit below, or it's on the dorsal aspect of your what, of your hand. Okay, so from that you need to know that if this is your hand. Let's say this is your hand, okay? If this is your hand, you need to understand the hand is having a section. So from here to there is the hand, then from there to there is the forearm, and then there you're going to have the what? The arm. So you start with such a knowledge by knowing that after the ulnar nerve, you're going to have the mediocutaneous nerve of the forearm. Then this mediocutaneous nerve has the brother whom it goes with, and this is the what? The mediocutaneous nerve of arm. So mediocutaneous nerve of what? Of the arm. The mediocutaneous nerve of the arm. So when you identify the nerves that are coming from the medial cord, so we are done with the branches of the medial cord. One, we started with the median nerve. Two, the median nerve helped us to identify the musculocutaneous and the ulnar. Then from the ulnar going up, you are going to start from the forearm, the lower part of your hand, which is the forearm. Then you go the arm. So you have the medial, from the medial cord name, and then medial cutaneous, because these guys, they normally send sensations to the skin. Medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. Let's quickly now, after you look at the medial cord, remember you remain with something on the lateral cord. So you need to look at it. What exactly are you supposed to identify on the lateral cord? So on the lateral cord, you have a nerve, which is this nerve. So this nerve, which is coming from the lateral cord, is just directly, it's known as the what? The lateral. It's normally known as the what? The lateral pectoral nerve. This is just known as the lateral pectoral nerve. So the lateral pectoral nerve is going to innervate the pectoralis what? Major. The lateral pectoral nerve is the one which is going to innervate the what? The pectoral what? Major. So after you identify this lateral pectoral nerve from the what? From the lateral cord, you go back and look at the posterior cord. So the posterior cord has two important nerves which are on the edge or on the last part of it. So the posterior cord has the nerves which are on the last portion of it. The one which is going towards the lateral side, it is the axillary nerve. And this axillary nerve, it is passing through the quadrangular space, and then from there it's going to innervate the deltoid muscle. So the one which is moving laterally towards the musculocutaneous, because the musculocutaneous is going towards the lateral side of the what? Of the body to innervate the bicep, the coracobrachialis, and also the brachialis muscle. So this nerve which is following the musculocutaneous nerve laterally, it is just the what? Axillary nerve, which is passing through the quadrangular space together with an important blood vessel, which is the posterior circumflex humeral artery. So this axillary nerve, like I have said, it has the brother who is going medially, and this nerve is just the what? The radial nerve. So you have simply identified the what? The radial nerve. So after identifying, remember the axillary nerve, it is going to help you to know the radial nerve, such that the axillary nerve, you are capable of relating it to move to in the direction where the musculocutaneous nerve is what? Is going. Just that when you talk of the cadaver, or when you are dissecting, you understand that this one will normally enter through the quadrangular space, and then this other nerve, which is the radial nerve, it will normally what? It will normally continue. So with that in mind, What else are you supposed to know for you to be easily identify the brachial plexus? So when you go up the posterior cord, there are three nerves that are moving together. So the question is, which of these three are you supposed to identify first? Which of these three are you supposed to identify first? The first one you need to identify first is the one in between them, and this is known as the what? The thoracodorsal nerve. The thoracodorsal nerve, which is now going to innervate the what? The latissimus dorsi, the thoracodorsal nerve. Now, the reason why I said that you should be able to first identify the thoracodorsal nerve is that this thoracodorsal nerve is related with that nerve there and the other nerve there. The nerve which is here, which is coming from the posterior cord, and the nerve which is coming from the posterior cord on the lower or below the thoracodorsal nerve, you need to understand that they have a little bit similar names. So let's quickly look at the first one. So the first one is known as the what? The upper subscapular nerve. So this nerve which is here, it is known as the what? Upper subscapular nerve. Okay, so this is just the upper subscapular nerve. Then after you identify the upper subscapular nerve, you have to identify the one which is in relationship with it, and this nerve is just the lower subscapular nerve. So you have the upper subscapular nerve and the lower subscapular nerve. So you should be able to use such ways in order for you to identify these nerves. Then remember, we had a nerve which was going toward the pectoralis region. And one thing you need to understand that this nerve which is labeled 8, it is a nerve that can easily be related to the lateral pectoral nerve. So in your mind, you should understand that on the brachial plexus, there are two pectoral nerves that you need to know. The first one, it is the what? The first one is the lateral pectoral nerve. Then the other one is the what? The other one is the medial pectoral nerve. So the lateral pectoral nerve is coming from the what? Is coming from the lateral cord. So the one which is coming from the medial cord going in the direction of the lateral pectoral nerve, this nerve is known as the what? The medial pectoral nerve. So the medial pectoral nerve, and this nerve is normally going to pierce. This nerve is normally going to pierce the pectoralis what? Minor muscle. Okay. So this one, the medial pectoral nerve is going to pierce the what? The pectoralis minor muscle, so that it pass through, and it's lastly going to innervate the what? It's going to innervate the pectoralis major muscle. So after you know how to identify all these nerves, there is one nerve which is remaining, and this nerve, it is just the suprascapular nerve. The last nerve to take note of is just the suprascapular nerve. Suprascapular nerve. So when you talk of the suprascapular, we are just simply relating it with what? With the scapula. So guys, make sure that you know how to label these nerves, and make sure that you are able to look for the best, fastest way that you can use to label the what? The brachial plexus. It may look so complex, but this can easily be identified and labeled without having any challenges. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you contact us for registration.